Meet the Ancore X, the almost too good to be true tiny but mighty cable machine that promises to do everything a full-size setup can without needing a forklift to move it. 220 exercises, dial in the resistance in just a second, and no whining about plates. But here's the real question for all my trainer friends. Can this pocket rocket survive a full day of trainer abuse, or is it just an overpriced paperweight? The No Fake channel? Checking in. Jonathan here, and in a previous video, I reviewed the Ancore Pro, an on-the-go cable machine that you could literally put anywhere. There were two small complaints. Number one is that in order to increase the resistance, you had to add plates on each side. And while it only took a few seconds, ain't nobody got time for that. And two, the maximum amount of resistance you could have on a single Ancore Pro simply wasn't enough for you red-blooded Americans. Say hello to the Ancore X. You just turn the dial and pull. No plates to deal with, no hassle, no fuss, and it has a maximum weight of 80 pounds. The Ancore X has three options as well when it comes to mounting this. One is if you want to mount it to a fixed position, just set it and forget it and leave it there, whether you want to do high, low, or in the middle, they've got that stationary mount. They also have, I think it's called a QD mount, where you can mount it and it's fixed, but it's pretty easy to take off and then mount someplace else. And last but not least, you got my favorite, the gliding mount. This is the cream of the crop. This is the top of the top. You just simply pull this handle and you can move it up or down. And because you don't actually have to align this with any of the power rack holes that this is attached to, you have infinite choices of where you have this thing set for your height, high or low, and everywhere else in between. And if for some reason you're lowering this and you just let it go, it will automatically stop in place. It will lock itself down. Now, I've been playing it and I've been banging with this thing for 3 weeks now, enjoying all of the features. I'm gonna take you through the upside, the downside, and then give you my final thoughts. First and foremost, the biggest upside is how quickly you can change the weight. It's literally a flick of the wrist and you can go from 5 all the way to 80 pounds of resistance. There's no plates to use, there's no learning curve. You literally give this to anyone and they know exactly how to change the resistance. My 7-year-old daughter came down here and she figured it out in half a second. Now, one nice feature about the Ancore X that a lot of people probably don't consider is that there's no batteries to charge. You're not gonna come down here and find out that, oops, you forgot to charge it. Also, there's no electronics inside that can go bad, that can have problems, that can fry out. It's just grip it and rip it. They use patented air resistance technology. So yes, they do have a patent on the technology that they developed themselves.
Kind of a big deal.
Unlike a super heavy cable machine with plates, you can transfer this to any rack you want. You can just take it off and move it at any point in time, and you don't need a forklift, you don't need a team, you don't have to take off a whole bunch of individual plates. Now, when it comes to a functional trainer, people want to do functional exercises. They want to do crazy range of motion stuff that's all over the place. Sometimes they want to get a little freaky with it. They want to take it for a walk. This cable travel length is 10 feet. That's right, 10 feet. I'd be pulling this thing for days to show you how long it is. 10 feet, which is way more than any of us should probably need. When it came to the Ancore Pro, you had to pull in the forward motion, whether it was up, down, or front. You couldn't pull left to right, and the genius engineers over at Ancore, guess what? They solved that problem. You can now pull left, right, up, down, and even behind. If you can dream it, you can do it. Now, it does come with this comfortable D handle, but you can use any cable attachment you want and just clip it in and go to work. Engineered, designed, and yes, even assembled here in Salem, Massachusetts. Plus, it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee and a 2-year warranty. Many of you are already screaming that 80 pounds worth of resistance just isn't enough for you. But guess what? I've got receipts. YouTube tells me, in fact, that 97% of you just aren't strong enough to hit that subscribe button. And the truth is, when it comes to 80 pounds of resistance, that's going to cover all of your functional training exercises, and it's also going to cover most of your auxiliary exercises and even bodybuilding exercises. The truth is, only on your most heavy lifts would you need more than 80 pounds. Here's an example. This is 80 pounds of resistance, and I can barely move it down. Now, I'm using two hands. I'm full force. I'm not joking around over here. And you can see that clearly 80 pounds of resistance is a lot of weight. When I take on a review, I always make sure to cover any of the downsides or the issues that I discover. And if you appreciate honest reviews, make sure you are using the affiliate links in the description. Not only do they help the channel, but of course, it's not a one-way street. When you use those links, let your boy know so that I can send you a small token of my appreciation. And there are a few small issues with this piece of equipment. Number one, in terms of the resistance, you've got about 4 or 5 inches of no resistance. You're just basically pulling the slack out, kind of like on a deadlift when you've got to kind of pull the slack out of the bar before you go ahead and lift. Now, is this 4 inches a big deal? And the truth is absolutely not, because none of you, and I do mean none of you, are gonna stand like right next to this piece of equipment to do your exercises. You're gonna take a step back anyway, and that's gonna pull the slack out of this cord, and you're gonna get instant tension. Something clearly obvious with regards to the Ancore X that might dissuade you from actually buying it, and that is if you already have a fully fledged cable machine. As we get further and further away from 2020, I will tell you that more and more people are getting cable machines in their home gyms. So if you already have one, clearly you don't need two. I will also tell you that when it comes to the Ancore X, 80 pounds of resistance is gonna cover like 95% of you. But I do admit that there are gonna be a few of you gorillas out there, Brandon, I'm talking to you, that absolutely need to go heavier than that 80 pounds of resistance. With great power comes great responsibility. And with great products, you get great price tags. The Ancore X is not cheap. It's not a budget piece of equipment. The setup you see right here with the Ancore X as well as the gliding mount comes in at $1,800. That's right. Now, you can save a boatload of money with my code NOFADE24/7, but it is still gonna be a tough pill to swallow. And now it's time. It is time for my final thoughts when it comes to the Ancore X. Now, during my personal use, I really love this thing. It was just fun to use, and more importantly than just being fun, the resistance felt good, and changing the weight is so easy. When it becomes this easy, you want to use this piece of equipment. Oftentimes, people get all these convoluted setups in their home gym. They think it's gonna be something amazing, and they find that after a few weeks, because it's so complicated, they don't bother using it. The Ancore X has 80 pounds of resistance, which for me, in all of my one-arm exercises, all of my functional training, and most of my two-arm exercises, was more than enough weight. I will admit that if I wanted to do lat pull downs with this or seated two-arm rows, 80 pounds of resistance just isn't gonna be enough. And I know that for most of you, 80 pounds of resistance may not sound like a lot of weight, but trust me, it is. Who is the ideal customer for the Ancore X? When Ancore built this thing, who did they say they were gonna sell it to? And it's clearly gonna be physical therapists and professional trainers. Those folks need to have something that's small, that is ultra quiet, and that is able to do a myriad of different exercises all in one spot. This thing is super easy to use with no learning curve. I can absolutely see athletic trainers putting this right on the power racks that their clients are training on. They put them through a bench session, a squat session, maybe some overhead press and deadlift, and boom, right onto the auxiliary exercises right there on the spot. I could also make a case for the Ancore X when it comes to powerlifting gyms. You've got clients that are gonna be squatting and benching, and they're probably gonna wanna do some auxiliary exercises, but they can do it all in that one rack station. I think for the casual home gym owner, this is just gonna be a bridge too far. It is going to be, unfortunately, too big of a pill to swallow. It's $1,800 for the Ancore X as well as the gliding mount. You're only gonna save a few hundred if you go with like the stationary mount, but I think most people, if you're like me, you're gonna wanna go with that gliding mount. It's just that good. Unfortunately, when you look at that price point and then compare it to the cost of putting a functional trainer inside your existing power rack, or even just buying a functional trainer or cable tower outright, outright. It's just a lot of money. And at the end of the day, it's all about the Benjamins when it comes to our home gyms. Now, two things that aren't hard to swallow, two things that are absolutely free, these two videos. Watch those videos, use the links in the description, and of course, give the video a like, and never save anything for the trip back.
He's not coming back.